Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Don't Blame Me, my podcast. This is my advice podcast starring me, Megan Ranks. How many times can I say me in this intro? Me. Hello. Hi, guys. Hi. Welcome to the podcast. Fuck, I've said this 9 times. Jack, this is Jack. Jack, say something.
Hi, Megan. I'm Jack Ferry, Megan's producer of the podcast. How are you?
I'm great. I'm good. I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm wearing sweatpants because we're not filming this episode.
Hooray.
I mean, I wore sweatpants the last 2 we filmed anyway.
That's true.
Mel is nodding her head because she did say as soon as she saw me that day, she's like, you know we're filming this, right? And I was like, no, but I'm not going to change a thing. Cool.
That's authentic realism, which is what we love about you.
Too real. Far too real.
And I, for those of you who don't know, if this is your first time listening, yes, this is indeed Megan's Advice podcast. You can call in and ask her questions about anything that you might have. And how do people ask you a question, Megan?
They stalk me on the street. No, don't do that. I don't leave my house. I don't give you a lot of opportunities to do that. You leave a voicemail, and the number you call is 310-694-0976. Again, 310-694-0976. You would think after this many episodes I would have been able to memorize this number.
It sounds like you've memorized it.
It does. I'm reading. I know how to read, though.
Oh, that's great.
I have this theory that some actors don't know how to read. It's fun. It's a fun theory.
I think that that's probably true.
It is.
I have a question for you, though.
Oh, God.
What if, for the sake of argument, I was, I don't know, an international listener and unable to call a local Los Angeles phone number? What do I do then?
Oui, wonderful question. That's me with my French accent.
Are you from France?
Oh, parlez-vous français, croissant? I'm so sorry, everybody. I love Passport to Paris.
Do you speak French croissant is what you just asked.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that is the question. Like, do you speak French croissant? Hell yeah. I'm not going to do the Lady Marmalade thing. That's what everyone does.
What do our French croissants do when
Our
they want to call?
French croissants grow opposable thumbs, and they use just use Siri. No, you have to. Okay, guys, this bit is I'm losing track of my joke. Our international callers, now you guys can leave somewhat of a voicemail too, but how you do that is record an audio message on your phones, like a voice memo kind of thing, or whatever contraption you use to record your voice. I don't think there's any other ones aside from that, but that's how you do it. And then you guys can send the MP3 to our email address, and then we can play that. But the same rules apply, the same guidelines and suggestions apply to the same voicemails. So we want it under 3 minutes, but we need as much context and details. Otherwise, that's really mostly for you guys, because I'm not gonna be able to give good advice if you don't give me all the details.
And it's important to include your age, because I think the advice you asked for at age 16 is going to be very different than the advice you asked for at age 24.
Oh, completely. And you could be in the same situation, but your age really helps me cater my advice to you specifically. Choose your own adventure. I've said that like 3 times today already. Choose your own adventure.
Where do they send these voice memos?
It's meganpodcast@gmail.com, but not it's. meganpodcast@gmail.com.
meganpodcast@gmail.com. Perfect.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Cool. So to give people a sense of the kind of questions they can call in and ask about, why don't we just dive into some questions right now?
Oh, that's a good educational segue. Bow chicka bow wow. Yeah. Hit it.
Hey, Megan. I hope you're having a great day. I am 21 years old, so I'll be a junior in college, and I've been dating my best friend and the love of my life for about a year now, and I'm super happy. And just to preface this, I have never really had a good, solid group of girlfriends, and I think that's just because I had a lot of issues with girls in high school and just the cattiness and the drama, and I'm pretty low maintenance and kind of just haven't, I have a few really good girlfriends, but for the most part, I don't have a ton of really, really good girlfriends ever since my boyfriend and I have started dating, he's become my best friend, and I spend a lot of time with him, and I focus on school and work and stuff. But I've noticed that my girlfriends just have started to get jealous, and will make passive aggressive remarks about how I'm not home or how I don't hang out with them. But they never really plan anything. They just kind of like to sit around and gossip, and they don't do much. Rather than with my boyfriend, we have a ton of fun together. We'll go hiking or we'll go camping and do stuff that I enjoy. And these girls also kind of can get catty sometimes. So I just would like some advice, because I definitely value friendships, but it's hard to find a balance, I guess. And I don't know, I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I know I'm going to marry this guy. And I don't know, to me, I would just much rather hang out with him than my friends. But I also know that that's probably not right. But yeah, if you could give me some advice on that. I know you're in a relationship and probably dealt with something similar. So thank you so much. I love your podcast.
Okay. So it's you I feel like you kind of understand, or I feel like you know what I'm going to say just based on how you phrased all of that. It's really important to have your own set of friends aside from the person that you're dating. I think the kind of infatuation with whoever you're dating, I think that happens at any age. And I also think that they can last for a while. That kind of wanting to spend all of your time with somebody, that's great. It's awesome that you guys get along that well. But I hear what you're saying where you're oh, but you and him do things that you really like to do versus these girls that you're friends with they do other things. So I think you've got a couple options here. You can plan things, and you're saying that they don't really plan stuff. They just sit around and you and your boyfriend plan stuff. So plan stuff with them. You be the one to instigate planning something that you enjoy doing and you think that they would enjoy doing, and get out there and hang out with them and do that stuff. And if they don't like doing that, maybe you need different friends, because the feeling that you have with your boyfriend and wanting to spend time with him, and that you guys like doing the same things and you really love spending time together, and he's makes you laugh and it's all great. Your friends should give you a similar feeling, just minus the sexual attraction part, or or it can be there too. I don't know. Okay, yeah. But that's what I mean. It shouldn't be this very vast contrast of being well, I can hang out with my boyfriend and have so much fun because we get each other and he's great and I love him, and we like doing all of the same things, and we have so much fun, he's great. Or I can hang out with my friends who are catty and boring and just sitting around and gossiping, which I hate doing. That just sounds that just doesn't sound like the people that you want to be friends with. That doesn't mean that you can't have friends. Maybe those just aren't the right ones. And then also giving them the opportunity to be the right kind of friends. I think maybe when it comes to like relationships and stuff, you guys can get excited about planning things and doing all of that stuff. And then you want the friend stuff to kind of just like fill in the gaps and kind of like be the extra stuff. But I think you need to put as much effort into planning things and going out of your way to do stuff with your friends that you would do with your boyfriend, because otherwise you're not giving them the opportunity to be fun and to be this like really great experience and have all of that. You're kind of setting them up for failure if you're just you're not giving them, I don't know, enough opportunity and effort that you're putting forth. So that's what I would do, because friends are incredibly important. On to the next call.
Hi, Megan. I'm 19. I have a 19-year-old twin brother, too. And he's becoming a priest. He wants to become a priest. And I'm totally supportive of what he's doing because it makes him happy, I think. But I also have reason to believe that he is gay. And I just think that him becoming a priest is also him hiding from his sexuality. So I recently was gay because, you know, in high school, he texted me something like that, and then I tried to bring it up in person a few years later, and he still, like, would deny it, and then after that, he would say he didn't want to get married, he didn't want to have a family, so I just don't think he wants to come to terms with his sexuality, and then being a priest is a really good way of not having to date anyone, because he wants to be a Catholic priest or Catholic, and I'm totally supportive of whatever he wants to do. But I just don't want him to be hiding from something really big in his life. And I don't know really how to approach different, if he is actually hiding from something. I don't want to bring that up to him because he does seem really dedicated and happy that he's choosing that path. And it's a really long process. So if he ever doesn't want to do it, like it'll take him, it's almost 12 years. So hopefully he'll come to terms with something. I've talked to my mom about it, and I mean, it's his decision. Like, obviously, as a priest, he's not asexual, so he does have a sexual orientation, but it just frustrates me when I just don't know if he's being 100% true to himself. So I don't know how to approach it with him.
Okay, I have two things. First thing is the more overall thing of being, this is his journey. Sexuality especially, you can see things from the outside and it feels really black and white and really obvious, but it's not 100% your life. You're a part of it, but that's his thing. If he's not ready to come out, or if he doesn't want to come out, or he doesn't want to deal with that, that's him. And like I completely understand how much that sucks, and you feel like he's not living his life honestly and truthfully and all that stuff, but you don't get to make a call to get him to do that if he's not comfortable doing that, which is sucky. And then so that's kind of like the ultimate thing of there's really nothing you can I think there's really nothing you can do to make him suddenly want to like live truthfully in the way that you think he actually is. And then my other bit of like actual more practical advice is just to be super, super outwardly open to everything. I think if there's some sort of like hesitation and resentment towards like homosexuality or coming out or being gay in general, it's probably coming from a place of worrying about what other people are going to say or think and not being accepted. And I think if you make it about just being really crystal clear, just in like general, like broad strokes of like turn on RuPaul's Drag Race, like show that you're like, hello, I am an ally kind of thing, because maybe he doesn't feel like, I don't know, you guys are religious, and the fact that he's completely turning into like wanting to become a priest before potentially coming out. I don't know if that's because he doesn't feel like he'd be supportive. You didn't mention if like your parents are accepting of homosexuality or the place that you live or anything like that. And I think if you kind of make it about like, it doesn't matter what he wants to identify with sexually or not identify with sexually, but just making it really clear to him that you literally love him no matter what. and showing that you are an ally. I think that's the only thing you can do. And if he feels like he wants to be comfortable with it and come out, and he feels like he's in a safe place to do so, and that he's not going to be in danger or like worried about he's going to lose his family or friends or something like that, then he can do that. But there's really nothing else you can do. And it's sucky. But I think just being supportive as opposed to being like, and not quietly supportive, but just being like supportive without pushing him to do anything. I think that's the best thing that I would say. And then if you've talked to your parents about it, and having them kind of do the same sort of thing, because I've also had friends who've come out who thought that their families were going to be like really not supportive, and they waited forever to do it. And their families were crazy supportive, but their families, they took the approach of being like, oh, we're just not going to bring it up. We're going to be quiet about it. But like, we really don't care, but we don't want to pressure you to do anything. But I think if you're able to kind of like openly talk about like, oh, I like, gay people and all of that kind of stuff, maybe he'll feel like it's a comfortable place. On to the next call.
Hey, Megan. So I'm 17, and here's the story. My friend invited me over to her house to drink with her and these two boys. I knew she had a thing for one of the boys, so I assumed she was basically hooking me up with the other one. So I went over, got way too drunk, went out with this boy, cuddled with him, and woke up with a hickey. Now, some important details got me in this guy. We didn't know each other until this night. I ended up throwing up because stupid me drank way too much. And he was there when I went through this terrible breakdown where I was like to him, I'm so gross, and I'm going to put everything out there. I told him how shitty I'd felt, and he comforted me. And then the next morning, we were cuddling and stuff. But when we went back to the other two friends, he ignored me completely. But he also ignored everyone too, though. But he didn't even look at me. And he said he remembered nothing of the night before. But he was cuddling with me that morning. So, like, what? And anyway, to make the story even worse, 2 days later, my friend who I was with that night hooked up with him. And then I got angry because, like, I didn't like him, but I kind of did. But I knew nothing was going to come. So I guess what I'm asking is, should I forgive her for hooking up with him, even though we had like a small history that meant more to me than him? Not to mention that she told me what she did was okay because we weren't dating and only kissed. So Megan, what do I do? Because I don't know. Thanks.
I've been your friend. I hate when I relate to like the bitch of the situation. It was like, this person fucked me over. I'm like, oh God, I've done that. Fuck, dude. Ugh. Okay, let me use this as an apology to my friends in high school. Okay, I think, yeah. Dude, I mean, I would forgive your friend. I don't think she means anything by it. I think especially when like drinking and that kind of stuff is involved, people do stupid shit and they make out with people and they do all that kind of stuff. And I think that's just kind of probably how it went with her and him.
She's very like upset with her friend at the moment because of like the quote unquote history she had with this guy that she met that night.
Yeah. Okay. There's something.
My feeling is this. Yeah. If you actually have feelings for this dude, then just tell your friend, hey, he's mine, back off. And if not, just be like, yeah, we both hooked up with this dude because we're feeling shitty. Move on and be friends and then forget about this dude.
But I'll also say when it comes to a friend, like telling your friend that she can't hook up with somebody who's not interested in you and who you aren't really that interested in, this idea of claiming guys, especially in high school, there's not enough guys. Yeah, you need to have people who it's like, okay, we've dated. There's like, oh God, my friends and I in high school, we probably hooked up with so many of the same guys. But then there's ones that are completely off limits because that's the ones you had like actual emotional relationships with. And I also think she probably, you might have actually downplayed it to her, like how you felt about him in the situation because you didn't want to feel stupid because it was pretty clear from him that he didn't feel the same way. And so your friend probably thought it was fair game and that you guys had just casually made out one night. And so she was going to casually make out one night. And also you were pretty clear the next morning that he was kind of a dick and an asshole about all of this. So
yeah, fuck the guy.
Yeah, your friend is probably like, whatever, he wasn't that great to her. I'm gonna make out with him, treat him like a piece of man candy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think there's
you got your rocks off. Now move along.
Exactly. There's that upset you get when your friend hooks up with someone you hooked up with, and you're like, oh, but I didn't even like you, but now that was my thing. So
that said, if you do have feelings for somebody and your friend is encroaching, you should be upfront with them.
Completely.
Don't assume that they're like have their worst intentions at heart. I think often if you just tell your friend like, no, like I really do like this person. Do you mind? And I think most of the time, if they're a good friend, they'll be like, oh, dude, I'm sorry, I had no idea, and they'll back the fuck off.
Yeah.
So I would say give your friend the benefit of the doubt on this one, and also forget this dude.
Yeah, forget the dude.
He sounds like he sucks.
He sounds like he sucks. And also, there's two people in every sort of relationship kind of thing, which is, God, it sounds terrible, but that's the excuse that I would make when I was your friend in this situation, where if you start hooking up with someone or dating someone that your friend used to have feelings for, if that guy wasn't into your friend that way, that it wasn't going to happen. Like, your friend hooking up with some guy doesn't mean that if he liked you, he would be with you. But I mean, him hooking up with other girls and anyone in general, even if it's not your friends, hooking up with other people, it's not anyone else's fault. That's him just playing like showing his hand and being like, this is how I feel. It's nobody else's fault if he doesn't. He's the only one who can control how he feels about you. Him hooking up with other people is not other people's fault. So that's what I would say. Sounds like a tool. So get rid of him, kick him to the curb, and forgive your friend. Okay, guys, we're taking a break. Hi guys, I want to take this ad break to a self-promo opportunity, tell you to please express your love for the show in the form of words and commentary, aka we would really love if you could leave a review for the Don't Blame Me podcast on the Apple Podcast app. Really helps us out with advertisers, keeping the show afloat and keeping the show coming out for you guys. And for those of you who've asked for it every week, I mean, guys, we're just trying to get this done every 2 weeks. So the more reviews and the better it's doing, the more often we can do it, and we can continue to do it. Okay, that's it. Back to the show. We're back from the break. Wow, it was wonderful. What'd you guys do during the break? Okay, guys, we're going to play our first call back.
I kind of have a weight problem. Well, I don't, but I feel like I do. And I just want some advice to help me because I am a swimmer. I really want to have a bikini body, which fast, because it's like the almost end of summer. So yeah, can you just help me, give me some advice, like positive talk? And yeah, so yeah, and by the way, I am 14 years old and my parents did say yes.
There's only one step to getting a bikini body. You just put a bikini on your body.
Whoa, that's it?
Oh, that's it. That's literally it. It's the easiest thing in the world. How to get your summer bikini body. Is it summer? Cool. Step 1 done. Next, have a bikini. Put it on your body.
Whoa.
That's it. I mean, that's really it. Also, dude, you're 14. That makes me sad to hear. Not down on you or anything like that, but literally just because you're concerned about like your physical appearance and your weight at 14. Which I would say my biggest advice to that is just do as best as you can to put that out of your head, because the second you start thinking those thoughts literally, like, it will just keep with you forever. And so I think, yeah, you just got, like, it really doesn't matter what you look like. It matters what you, like, feeling healthy and feeling good. And you're also about to, if you haven't already, you're about to go through puberty. So I apologize, homie. You're going to get a butt. You're going to get boobs. It's going to happen. It's going to be a thing. And you're going to be like, wow, okay, cool. This is a thing that changed and has happened. My body is not a wonderland. I'm confused. So yeah, I think when it comes to the body positivity stuff, I mean, shit, we're all guilty of being like, oh, I feel like I look fat in this. I feel like I don't look great. I don't do anything like that. But something that I even still do now is anytime that I'm like feeling upset about myself, any sort of appearance thing, I will just be like, but that doesn't matter. Like, in the sense of, like, that sounds stupid to say, but it's like, that's not my job. Like, my job, I'm not a model. My job is not to be perfectly in shape and like have my skin be cleared 100% of the time. Like, that's not my passion. My passion is not being like, oh, my hair looks good. My passion is not my hair looking good or having like long, perfect eyelashes. I think if you focus on things that further where you want to be with your life and do with your life, those are far more fulfilling and far more beneficial in the long run than like making sure that you look good all of the time, because you can't get paid money to do that unless you're going to be a model, in which case I don't understand how people do that at all. But yeah, throw a bikini on your body. Don't worry about it. Everybody else is way more concerned about how they look, and no one's looking at you.
Hey, Megan. I'm 16 and I live in San Francisco. Also, some more context. Your homegirl's gay. I don't know. I just want advice on how to not feel shitty. I don't know. I think I've just been dealt bad hands, but whenever I talk to a potential guy, it's always really, really weird. It's like we'll have a really, really good day talking and we'll have a lot of fun talking. And then the next day they'll ghost me. And it's like completely fine. Like I understand that it's like, if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. But it, it still kind of hurts. And it's kind of like a big blow to my ego kind of when people just like, I don't know. I've just put myself out there countless times and I've tried so many like different, like I'm literally on Grindr too. It's just, it's not like I've tried super hard because I know I shouldn't force things. It's just like, it's kind of painful to see everybody around me in relationships. And it's like me feeling like I can't do anything about it because either the guys I like will do that or the guys I like are straight. And it's just like hurts. And I know you have a lot of friends and you have a lot of advice, even though you're not gay. I just really need some light in this really weird, not really dark tunnel, but it's like, it's getting dimmer.
Everything ends until it doesn't is kind of like the overall relationship advice I've always given when it comes to dating. And I mean, I think that applies to everybody. Like every relationship is going to end until it doesn't, whether that relationship ends in after a day or a couple of weeks or something like that. That's just how it is, which super, super, super sucks, obviously. I think you said you're 16, right? That was 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say this, despite the fact that you're in San Francisco, which is like I identify as San Francisco being like the gayest city because I don't know. I grew up near San Francisco and
well, it is definitely
the Castro. We've got everything.
Yeah, it's one of the birthplaces of the movement. So.
Yes. No, and I think you're in a really great city. But I will also say from not my personal experience, but being friends with some of my friends who were gay in high school, had a really hard time dating in high school just because the pool was a lot smaller because some people are able to really like understand their sexuality and be cool with it and come out at a young age. But a lot of people aren't. Even when I was in college, I had a couple of friends who like I clearly knew that they were gay and both were in relationships and had girlfriends. And it took them to being out of college to end up dating each other and all that kind of stuff. So I think there's definitely like when you go to college or anything like that, you're going to be surrounded by a lot more people and a lot of different kinds of people. And I think giving everyone the opportunity to surprise you and to potentially be a great guy, if you go into it kind of being jaded, assuming that they're going to ghost you, they're probably going to ghost you. And then I think also just knowing if some guy's ghosting you, it's because like you're better off that he's ghosting you because he's probably not the right guy for you. And if he was the right guy, he wouldn't be ghosting you. And yeah, I think being on dating, can you be on dating after 16? I feel like I can't advise that. You said you're on Grindr.
I think you can be. I mean, my feeling is like, what are you trying to get out of these either dates or relationships or hookups? Because if you're not doing it if you're not on the same page with these people, then I think maybe you need to communicate that.
Yeah, no, I didn't have my first, like my high school relationship. We started dating when I was 16 and we dated through the rest of high school. But then after that, I wasn't in any relationship that lasted more than like 6 months. And I was in like 2 other relationships that lasted like 6 or so months and then didn't get into another long-term relationship until I was in my 20s. So I think that's an age thing in general. And then I also think I don't, and you didn't allude to this at all, but it follows on what Jack was saying is don't be afraid that you're going to scare someone off by saying what you're into because there's again what you're looking for. And if you want a relationship, you're like, oh, but I don't want to scare someone off. And it's like, well, if someone's scared off by what you're looking for out of this, that's good that you're essentially weeding them out.
You want to scare off the people that you don't want to be with.
100%.
Yeah.
You can't go out with somebody and hope that like, well, maybe when they meet me, they will be in a better mental place to like want to date or do something like that and they'll be for it. People are usually pretty honest about themselves up front and what they're looking for. And so if you give someone the opportunity to be honest about what they're looking for by you saying what you're trying to get out of this situation, most of the time people are going to be like, okay, cool. If they're not interested in a relationship, they're going to be like, I'm not a total asshole. I don't want to get involved with that. I'm so sorry. That's not what I'm looking for. And then you might be surprised by the amount of people that are actually interested in that.
But I do want to say that, like, I get it. I mean, when I was 16, I was with a group of friends, and almost all of them had like serious girlfriends that had lasted.
16?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I had like a friend group. There was like 4 dudes, and at any given time, at least 2 of them, and sometimes all 3 of them, had like serious long-term girlfriends. And I was the one that was just sort of like, oh, it's fine. I'm the fun guy. I don't need to have a girlfriend right now. And it was fine. But then there were definitely times when you're like, oh, I do feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was different when I got into college, obviously, and I met a whole new group of people. But like at the time, it definitely does feel isolating when other people are like, when you see the benefits of like that like serious committed relationship and you're like, oh, I kind of want that. I don't want just like the rando hookup, whatever. Like I get that. I understand like that feeling of loneliness, but I do think that like he's doing something right. I mean, he's getting success with these people who then maybe later aren't like following up with him. So like clearly he's able to find people that are into him. I think he just needs to, like you said, weed out the people that are just interested in him physically, and find the people that like might be interested in more than that. And then if you decide you want to do something physical with that person, then there's an expectation then that when you follow up like 2 days later or whatever with that like follow-up text, they feel a responsibility to at the very least be like, yeah, let's maybe get together again for like a coffee or something to just sort of see where this goes. It might not go anywhere, but at least, you've made your intentions clear. And I think that's important.
I think so too. Okay, guys, we got time for one more call.
I've been dating my boyfriend for 2 years now, and we do have a really great sex life. However, I'm like really embarrassed to say this, but I have like a major tickle fetish, and I think it's really embarrassing because like I never talk about it because like I think it's really weird. Like I don't like that I have it, but I do, and I like have been like trying to like subtly introduce that into our sex life to kind of like let him know without officially saying it that that's what I want. But he's always been like, no, stop, like that's weird. Like he kind of like turns it down, and so that's why I'm scared to like have a conversation about it. But I really would like to because I think it would just make our sex life so much better if I was open to him.
Okay, if you've been dating this guy for this long, you guys sound like you guys are in it for the long haul, or you've been in it for a while, and you're of an adult kind of age. And if this guy's into you, which it sounds like he is, he's gonna be into making you happy. So I think the idea that it is weird and it is like you are embarrassed by it, I think it doesn't really matter. Jack is making so many faces, but I constantly say that like if like Mott's fucking decided he had some like weird fucking fetish, the only thing in my head I'd be like, oh God, now we have to do this.
I don't know. I think for you it's different. I do. I think unless he came up with something really out there, you'd be like, yeah, okay, cool, that's fine.
No, I even think about the weird out there things that I'm like, oh fuck.
I don't know. It sounds like she's already tried. I honestly, I think that maybe, listen, if this is a real thing for you, and you've tried to float the idea and he thinks it's weird and doesn't want to do it, I think you've got really one of two choices. You can either say like, listen to me, like this is a very important part of who I am. I need this in my life, and can you indulge it? Yeah, yes or no? Or you just need to find somebody who really is into it. Because I think if you end up with this person and this is something that you just decide that you like, it's whatever. It's like the thing about like these sorts of things is you don't choose them, they choose you. And for better or worse, this thing chose you. So this is what you're into. And like, you need to find somebody that's going to indulge that, whether they're into it or not.
But you also need to be honest with yourself in the sense of how much have you really put this idea out there with him? Because if you're just like, if you haven't explicitly said it and you've just not even like hinted at it, but like I don't know the specific, I don't want to like picture you having sex with him, no offense, I just feel weird picturing anyone having sex, but I mean depending on how you've brought it up, has it been in like an honest, serious way? Because you said that you feel really embarrassed by it. So I think if you kind of just like give yourself like one, like,
Well, that's the first problem.
well, I'm just like, give yourself like one, like, okay, I need to rip the Band-Aid off and just full on say it. And I think trying that, but I also think a way how I would go about it is ask him if he has anything that he'd be like, are there any like sexual fantasies that you have that like we could try? Or is there any like thing that you're into, even if it's like super embarrassing? Like, let me know. Like, I like open that conversation for him and giving him the opportunity to say something that he's like into. And then maybe if he flips the table on you, start like casually saying some like smaller things that you already really like about your sex life that you like would like to do more of. And then saying, maybe floating the idea of like, oh, maybe watch that genre of like porn together or something like that.
I think that's a great idea, is to say whatever you want to do, it's on the table. Just tell me what your like deepest, darkest fantasy is.
Because maybe he's into something like that. Like,
he probably is. Most people are into something. But I do think part of the problem here is the fact that she's embarrassed by this thing, which she shouldn't be embarrassed by.
No, but I completely understand it. But you have no reason to be embarrassed by that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people.
But it's not gonna be easy to deal with until she can get over her own shame around it, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And you have to just come to I think accepting yourself with it. I mean, like, okay, this is something that I'm into. I am embarrassed by it and I don't like that this is something I'm into, but like, okay, cool. This is me. I have to deal with this. And pushing it away is just kind of great. I think.
Also, I think it's important to say here, just so you know, caller, that what you're into is not weird.
No, not at all.
It's actually a very common fetish. There's a lot of people that are super into it.
It's like one of the big ones.
Yeah, it's like one of the top. When it comes to like fetishes in like the BDSM community, like it's on the sort of like more common and like what they would call like the minor scale of things. So you have nothing to be embarrassed by. It makes complete sense. It's all about like control. It's playful. Like there's nothing weird about it. And the fact that you're into it is not odd. It's actually much more common than probably you even realize. And you shouldn't feel ashamed. And I don't know. For me, it's a red flag hearing your call because it's just sort of like you floated the idea. It's a pretty innocent fetish, and the fact that it sounds like your boyfriend sort of reacted so negatively to it, for me, that sounds like a bit of a red flag. So for me, that would be like, look, what I'm asking you to do is not that weird. I mean, we've had other calls on this show where people have been asked to do things that are on the much more extreme scale of things. So the fact that he seemed so not into it when he should have, like Megan was saying, seen this as an opportunity to be like, oh, okay, well, you've revealed something very honest about yourself. Here is my very, maybe slightly embarrassing thing that I'm super into that I've always wanted to explore. And rather than like get into that sort of exchange and give and take, his response was, no, that makes me uncomfortable and it's weird that you like that. That makes me go, ooh, God.
Yeah, but I'm also curious. Did she float around the idea? Did she verbally say something, or did she just physically kind of try to get there?
I don't know. That's a tough thing to do.
Because that's what I mean.
Well, it depends on which side.
Yeah.
Because if she's the one who likes to be tickled, that's not something that you can just sort of get someone to do without. That's what
I wonder.
Whereas if she prefers to be the top, then that would mean he was in a position where he was like, she was tickling him, and then he was like, "Stop it, knock it off."
But also,
to be fair, some people fucking hate being tickled.
I hate being tickled more than anything in the entire world.
Some people fucking hate it.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I kick Mott's when he tries to tickle me.
Yeah, I don't particularly like it either. But that said, like, I think Megan's right. You need to be very fucking crystal clear that like this is a part of who I am. This is something that I need.
A thing that you're into sexually, because I think if you randomly start tickling, he might not be taking this as a serious thing, and especially if you're feeling embarrassed and you're kind of like halfway saying it but not fully saying it. This is one of those things when it comes to sex stuff, you have to be kind of really crystal clear, black and white, because you don't want to do something that the other person's uncomfortable with because you've kind of assumed they're either for it or against it, or you don't like, just being honest. It's going to be super fucking awkward and feel really weird. But again, like you're saying, you don't choose these kinds of things. These things choose you. And the person that you're with, you have to also figure out, if this is a thing that you really need to have a fulfilling sex life, which there's no shame in that. There's no shame in needing to prioritize you getting off and like your sexual happiness. And if this relationship isn't going to be able to do that for you, that doesn't mean you're a bad person or that you're choosing something for something else. I think every relationship, at least in my, like your perfect relationship should be a harmony of like someone who you can explore all those things with and you feel really satisfied with. And you also have the emotional connection with. So I think you have to give him the opportunity to be really understanding and supportive and a great partner. And until you've given him that opportunity, you can't know what he's going to say. And if he doesn't say what you want, then I think it's the figuring out how important that is to you. And it's okay if it's 100% okay if that's super important to you and that he doesn't fulfill that. And then like you guys aren't a thing.
I mean, that happens all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think this is a great example of something where we would love more context. We would love it if you could talk to your significant other and then follow up with us and let us know how it went, because I think there's some details we don't really know, and also like this can go a lot of different ways depending on what happens. So let us know, because I think your experience could be very informative for others, but also we would be very curious to see where this takes you. But that said, you should never feel embarrassed for something that turns you on, because, you know, for the most part, fantasies are fantasies and you don't really pick them, and they're not a reflection of who you are as a person. They're just, that's the thing that you're into, and you shouldn't feel any shame towards those.
Yeah. And even the most vanilla looking person walking down the street, I'm sure, has some crazy sexual fantasies. Just because you don't talk about it with your friends doesn't mean that they don't have them either.
Yeah. I mean, sex is crazy. Yeah. It's a crazy thing people do together. So when you take it out of context, it's pretty absurd, the things that we do. So when you think about that in that context, like the sort of things that people do that are sort of on the periphery, the kinks and whatever, they're actually not that odd.
No. Go to Pornhub. You'll see some weird shit.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
Okay, everybody, that is it for today's episode of Don't Blame Me. This was a fun one. I mean, they're all fun ones. I'm not playing favorites to the people who called in this episode versus other episodes, but you guys were really great. I really enjoyed your questions. If you guys want to call and leave voicemails because you have questions or a follow-up from another call that you've called in before, if you have some feedback for some of these other calls and advice that we've given on today's episode or any other episodes, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. Again, 310-694-0976. We would also really love it if you left us reviews on the Apple Podcast app. That would be really nice. I'm like an Uber. I just beg for 5 stars. Is it 5 stars? 5 stars is what I want.
5 stars, please. And if you want to leave us a call because you are an international caller and you have no way to call this 310 number, you can always record a message under 3 minutes, give us context in your age, and then send us the audio of that call to meganpodcast@gmail.com.
Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you / you will hear me in your ears in 2 weeks. Deuces. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, produced and directed by Jack Ferry, associate producer Melissa DeMons, edited by Melissa DeMons, post-production sound by Chris Henry, and music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter. I will see you guys in 2 weeks, and don't blame me if your life bursts into flames before then.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast. And with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed.
I had Danielle and Megan record some answers to seemingly meaningless questions. I asked Danielle what insect song is typically higher pitched in hotter temperatures and lower pitched in cooler temperatures.
You got this.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe that. About a wish coming true? Well, I didn't either. Of course, I'm just a
cicada. I'm crying. I'm so sorry, Jiminy.
You win that one.
So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.